Hi, I'm Stevie Lee, former defensive tackle for the University of Texas.
And I'm Clyde Hargrove. I'm a roofer.
I also saw action in 52 games.
And I fix a lot of roofs.
Also won a Rose Bowl and never lost to A&M.
And I fix a lot of roofs, right, Stevie?
Oh, right. I'm sorry, I zoned out a little bit.
So are you going to say that thing about Hargrove Roofing?
Hargrove Roofing. Know who's on your roof.
Is this even going to work as a commercial?
They didn't beat themselves, and they kind of hung around, and we started to beat ourselves. And so correctable issues, but that's our job as coaches to get them corrected. So that's going to be our focus moving forward.
Stevie, not a good weekend. Was not what we expected in Stillwater. My first question to you, and I know we like to joke around a lot because we're positive guys. Do we look at this game as Texas had a double-digit lead on the road against the 11th ranked team in the country, or do we view this as another setback in which Texas had a double-digit lead on the road and just cannot finish games, period, in that aspect, that mindset of a trend, so to speak?
The mindset that I took away from this game is you had a double-digit lead and you blew it. No matter who that was on the other side of the field, ranked number 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got the lead, you keep the lead, and you expand on the lead.
Right.
It was bad. I did not like what I saw second half at all. Like, it actually had me questioning what's going on internally.
Right.
I don't know if the kids are buying in. I don't know if the coaches buy into what the kids' abilities are. But it had me questioning, why were the receivers so off from the quarterback?
Yeah. A lot.
The receivers would zig when you thought they were going to zag, and that happened a lot. On top of the penalties that were undisciplined penalties, there were some questionable calls from the refs. Yeah,
of course.
Questionable no calls from the refs, but false starts are false starts. That's actually on you, And jumping offsides penalties is actually on you. Those are not questionable calls, though. That actually happened, right? What do we got here?
Alarming stats. And I want to bring this up. I mean, listen, we're not going to, sensationalize and just be negative to be negative. But, man, I had to go with this. It's all gas in the first half, all breaks in the second half. It's kind of a trend lately.
It is,
It's 3 points in the entire second half.
Yeah, that's getting the 3 points is like tapping the brakes, but then not getting anything after that, just like full on breaks.
Yeah.
We got the best running back in the country, and he showed you why he was the best running back in the country.
Maybe
in the first
top
half.
two.
Yeah. In the first half, he showed you, and we couldn't do anything else with him in the second half. Back in the day when we had Cedric Benson and other running backs, a stable of running backs, Jamal Charles and people like that, they would carry our offense because our staff back then knew how to use the player, So I don't know, man. It seemed very off,
Very much
to
so.
say the least. It was off. And then I saw a tweet that half the team went in after and didn't sing the Eyes of Texas after the game.
Well, I've got that for you.
Am I just blowing through all your
No,
your highlights?
no. I've got that for you. It's from our guy Anwar Richardson. Very few Longhorns state. Now, listen, Stevie, I get it. You just had a tough loss, but as a player, and you work so hard to put on that jersey and that logo, and you love that program and you love your teammates, whatnot. I know it's frustrating, but what would happen on one of your teams in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, if a teammate after a loss didn't sing the Eyes of Texas and walked off to the locker room?
Yeah, it would have been a problem. We're going to win and lose as a team, and we're going to stay out there for the Eyes of Texas. It just is what it is. But in the same breath, we did have emotional losses.
Right.
And I do remember our coaches making us go find the band. Like, they wouldn't let us leave the field. Coaches wouldn't let us leave the field. And we had to go and sing the Eyes of Texas in front of our band everywhere we went. Like, I remember getting our asses handed to us in Dallas, but we had to go to the other end of the field, sing the Eyes of Texas, then walk back across the field to go into the tunnel, right? So, and everybody did it.
Yeah.
You may be mad standing off to the side, but you stood there. You may not sing the song, but you stood there in front of the band, and as they performed the Eyes of Texas, and then you walk off the field. This picture is upsetting. I don't know what happened. I need to hear an explanation. I need to hear, and where's Shark? Is Shark down there?
I don't see him. I'm not saying he's not down there, but
yeah,
I didn't see him.
I mean, I see one person in uniform, and maybe the picture is distorted, and maybe they're all more off to the side. But give them the benefit of the doubt. But I need to know what happened. Did they not find the band? Could they not find the band? Was the band even there? Did they travel?
It's a good question, but the band, almost all the visitor sections, that's an East-West stadium. The band, I mean, the Texas fans almost always are literally right there next to the railings or 10 rows up in Stillwater.
Yeah. So maybe the band wasn't there and they couldn't find the band. And if the band isn't there, then they didn't sing the Eyes of Texas.
It's got to be addressed. You can't sweep it. You can't sweep that under the rug. You can't.
Yeah. So that was disturbing. If the band is there and they're playing Eyes of Texas and half the team is not there, there's a breakdown within the team.
There's a locker room issue.
It's a locker room issue. They're not on the same page. I even was looking around, was like, is the card guy that holds the cards up for the next play, is he off? I'm like, yours is reading one card and the other guys are reading the other card, and like, wow. And then I was like, if this is all not working, I would stop that, huddle everybody, and say, X receiver, you run this.
Right.
Y receiver, you run this. Z receiver, you run this. And tell yours, this is what they're running. It got so bad to where I was like, just tell them what to run. I think that and then I thought that I thought a lot of things.
Yeah.
I thought that the defense, our offense will look at Oklahoma State's defense, and Quinn was reading zone while the receivers were reading man. And so if it's zone or if it's man, there's two different routes from whatever they read. And I was like, these kids aren't – that's pro level type reading, and for everyone to be on the same page. And I don't think that these kids are at that point yet. So go back to novice defensive reading look to the sideline and get your play then. But then I was like, well, are they not getting the correct play from the sideline?
Yeah.
And then I said to myself, why would they even change up all the signals? I thought that they changed signals. That's why they weren't reading the signals correctly. And I said, why are they changing the signals right now when you have a bye week next week? Then you can change the signals. You have 2 weeks to study those signals, right? So it was something that happened because no one was hurt, right? No one was limping on the field or anything like that.
Correct.
It was a mental game that we lost. We lost a mental game. And then that's when I looked and said, well, maybe these guys aren't conditioned, because I do know.
That's a great point I wanted you to bring up. I was hoping you'd say that.
Right. And I was like, also, maybe these guys aren't conditioned, because when you get really, really tired, your brain starts to go, So when you're supposed to zig and you zag, that's fatigue, right? And so now I'm also leaning heavier on the latter, because I saw defense. They weren't on the field as much as they were against Texas Tech. And listen, Texas Tech was 3 weeks ago? You should have your conditioning up by now. Because when I played football at the University of Texas, when we looked sluggish at the end of a game, we conditioned after practice, even during the season. So if they were gassed after the Texas Tech game, then you got to condition them after every practice. They need to work hard in practice and then get on the line and go working through conditioning after practice, right? And so I don't think that's happening, because the same tired guys that was at the Texas Tech game was at this game as well.
I don't think that is. I think it's a factor. Now, I do have a friend of mine who's in the tech industry. Now, this is throwing it way out in left field. I won't name him yet. Pretty smart guy. He has done some research where the UT practice field is, and he honestly believes, and he's got the numbers for the emissions from I-35, and he says that he thinks the carbon monoxide poisoning affects the Texas football program because of where their practice facility is.
You can enter the cricket sounds right
now.
there.
Crickets? Hey, that's what he told me. Listen, I'm not saying he's wrong.
No. I've practiced on that field. On that field plenty. And you do smell fumes, and that's something, right? That's something. You do smell fumes. Good.
I didn't laugh at him when he told me. I said, because he's a smart
guy.
I
laughed at you. I didn't laugh at him. I laughed at you.
But I was, when he first said it, I almost started laughing. But then I started thinking deeply, you know what?
You smell them.
My guy has a point.
You do smell the fumes, and that is something. Yeah. Secondhand fumes. So I would love to do a environmental air test.
Yeah.
During practice. Yeah. We should do that for sure. But a little birdie told me also that we want to take over the intramural fields, because all that stuff is going to be hospital.
Oh, off of 51st Street?
Mm-hmm. All that stuff is going to be UT System Hospital for teaching. And so eventually that big field behind Jester, where there's a huge track over there.
Oh, Clark Field.
Yeah, Clark Field. We want to take that over and start practicing over there. Put an indoor facility there and use that for outdoor too. And all you have to do is just cross that one street.
Right. Because it used to be where the team used to practice back in the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the outdoor basketball courts are. Mm-hmm. That's where real men played basketball back in the day.
I hear you.
I hear you. It was,
and then us soft guys will go into Gregory and play basketball.
There was one court there. It was right as you walked in. They call it the NBA. No boys allowed.
No boys allowed. There
That's
you go.
right. Hey, so
it was all girls playing.
yeah, but hey, no. There was some legit women playing sometimes.
No, I'm messing with you.
Back there, that was funny though. So we mentioned the alarming stats, and I think conditioning is part of it. And I thought Quinn, I get it. He's been in 5 college games.
Mm-hmm.
He just looked way off. He had 30 incompletions in that game against yesterday in Stillwater. And this is what Sark mentioned. He mentioned that plus the 14 penalties. Keep in mind, OSU had none.
Zero.
This is Sark's reaction to both of those that I mentioned just now.
I don't think we were jittery at all. But for whatever reason, we jumped off sides again. We had some procedural issues offensively. We had holdings offensively. We had pass interference defensively. So there's things that are very correctable that we can get fixed, and we'll get fixed.
He's throwing himself under the bus to try to protect the kids right now, but it's on everybody. Everybody. Yeah.
Stevie, what do you do right now? I mean, their goals are still there technically, but they've got a tremendous stretch of games right now coming up.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about this, and we knew K-State was going to be good. They still got Kansas, who's not what we thought they were, but we know they're improved. Okay?
Yeah. Still got Baylor.
And you got Baylor. And who am I leaving out? There's another one. Kansas State, Baylor. Texas is 5-3 right now. They've got another Texas school that I'm leaving out. I don't know why I can't think of it. TCU.
Yeah, I don't know why we're leaving out TCU. Yep, TCU.
So you got the gauntlet at Kansas State, home against TCU, at Kansas, and finish
Baylor
at home against Baylor. I see 7-5.
You only see 2 more games in there?
I mean, the team, listen, you and I both have said this, have the talent and the ability and the coaching to win all these games.
Yeah.
But man, and I know this is they're getting better. They are better. Let's just face that. They are better than last year. But God, man, the procedural penalties keep appearing. They cannot close games out. I mean, they're 1-6 in true road games. The one win was a year ago in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
On the road.
Yeah. They don't travel well.
And I don't get it. I mean, I don't think you and I think like the majority of the fan base, fire this person, fire that. Let's call out an individual kid. But, I mean, I still believe that was Quinn's. He just didn't look like he was engaged.
Didn't look like he was engaged. You're right.
Even Hargrove Roofing, our sponsor. We love those boys. And those ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hargrove Roofing in Austin, Texas. Louisiana base.
Yep.
Even Coach Ab was with Hargrove Roofing, who's the president of the Austin office. He was a little disgusted with what he saw. Yeah. There's a lot of people who have bought into this team. There's a lot to like about this team. Know who's on your roof. And also know who's on the field for Texas.
No question. That was good, Sean.
Man, I don't know where it came from. I get lucky sometimes.
That was good. But, man, shout out to my boys over at Hargrove, man.
Yes.
Who's on your roof. But the field, man, it was so baffling to me that we couldn't get anything going. All we needed was a few first downs and run the clock out,
Yep.
Give me a score, We'll have a big play and then nothing. And come to think about it, let's talk about how we scored. We scored off of 2 big, huge
gas
big plays, right?
The backside counter.
Yeah. So Bijan on a 49-yard catch or something like that, and then Bijan on a 42-yard, 38-yard run or something like that. So those are explosive plays. If we don't get those explosive plays, I don't think we score. We take 14 points right there off the board. Because we couldn't hold on to a drive long enough to score. We would get a good drive going and then get stopped, have the punt, or try to field goal and miss. You know what I mean? So, or turnover. We'll get a good drive going and then turn it over. So it was a lot going on this game. And honestly, these coaches, I'm gonna say it, they're making too much money to be letting these kids let them down like that.
Well, and the defense, listen, they played with 3 freshmen on the O-line at one point in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oklahoma State made the adjustments. They are well coached. That's one thing you're going to get out of Gundy. They're going to make adjustments. They keep changing coaches, because they're getting better jobs. Jim Knowles leaves. They bring in Coach Mason, who's been there been in the biz forever. Same system. Well, offensive coordinator, they keep rotating. But you can't find any consistency at Texas?
Yeah.
Again, Texas is better this year. But let's take another step up. I don't think it's much to ask of this team to get better every week, even if you lose.
Right. And so that's another thing, man. Like, if we came out in the first 3 games, and looked like we looked last year, then I would have gone in this game like, yeah, it's okay. We'll get them next year. I would have said that in the beginning of the game. But we got it in us, and we're letting it slip away from us. We got it in us, but we can't finish it because we're doing decent in the first half. We're doing decent in the first half.
Doing pretty good.
But then we do bad in the second half. It's a thin line. I think I told you this before. I'm going to go ahead and say it on camera. It's a thin line from being big and strong to just being fat.
Yeah. I love being real.
Yeah. You can put that on the headline. Stevie said
it says
there's a thin line to being strong and big to just being fat and tired. There's a thin line.
Get in shape, Longhorns, man. Have endurance, stamina.
What are we? Question mark. I need to go ahead and put that on my social media. What are we? Question mark.
What
big
are
and
we?
Strong, or just fat and slow?
Well,
because we look big and strong in the beginning, in the beginning of the game, and then we just look fat and slow at the end.
Yeah.
And I'm the first one to tell you I'm fat and slow. I'm also 41 years old. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I'm talking to the choir right now.
Yeah.
So I couldn't do half the things those kids are doing right now. But
so that is ties to the fact, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. What were you going to say?
No, I don't know what I was going to say now. I probably needed to. You probably needed to stop me.
Well, our guy, Bobby Burton, he's one of the pace setters of the recruiting world, following recruiting, and then Rod Babers. I watched a little bit of their podcast yesterday, and this is speaking to the fans. Sark can't finish games. That's the narrative, and that's nothing new. But I want you to hear this clip. I mean, it's nothing we haven't heard, but I love listening to these guys. And here you go.
Another not so good performance for the Longhorns. Another road loss for Steve Sarkisian. Another one-score road loss for Steve Sarkisian.
Up double digits, Bobby.
Yep, up by 10 in the third. Up by 10 in the third quarter, and just could not get anything. They really couldn't get anything going in the second half on offense. When the counter play stopped working on the run play, Rod, they didn't have another play to go to.
See, Oklahoma State made the adjustments, took that away. Well, where was UT's adjustments?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just asking, I'm not saying they didn't do it, but I didn't know. We didn't see it.
Yeah.
What do you think it is? I mean, since from your trained eye, am I missing something? Is the fan base missing something? Or
Well, what I'm hoping, I don't know if I'm hoping, but what I'm thinking, or maybe it's happening, that Shark, I spoke really highly of him and his offenses, right?
yeah.
The offenses that we've seen throughout the years and the other places that he's been, and the Heisman candidates that he had under his belt. It may be too complicated for these guys right now.
That's a good
but
point.
We've had them for 2 years, right? They should be knowing. They should know right now. They should know mostly everything in the playbook right now, and Shark should know what they know, so he know what to call, right? So maybe that Shark, his offense is so top tier that our kids aren't getting it right now.
That's a possibility.
It's a possibility because of the carbon monoxide on the road next to the
Hey. I want to have him on here and see what he thinks. Dish out those what's the word you use when in a science experiment? Your hypothesis.
Your hypothesis. Yeah.
Hypotheses.
Show me your hypothesis, your thesis, your
Write it
everything. I need data.
Show me your work.
Show your work. Yeah. So there's a disconnect somewhere, man, and I think it starts with strength and conditioning right now. It starts with strength and conditioning, because if that kid, that last touchdown that OSU got when he broke away. And I don't know if that was the last one, the second to the last one, or the one that tied it up. It was like a 40-yard run or something like that after the catch. When he manhandled the ball down and broke the tackle, he looked like he had just come out of the locker room in the first quarter.
Yeah.
And we looked gassed. That's why we could not tackle him. Right? We looked tired. That's why we couldn't tackle him. That kid had played a whole game. Our kids that played a whole game. They didn't look like they played a whole game. We looked like we played several games at the end of one game. Tired. There's a thin line between big and strong or just fat and slow. Thin line.
I don't think it's a pride issue. I don't think it's a buy-in. I think you're onto something. They have got to figure out. They are playing a lot of new people. But you would think we're 7 games into the season, 8 games into the season. You're not young anymore. Sark was asked specifically a little bit more about Quinn and how the OSU front was getting through the O-line. I saw Quinn pressured at times. I know we saw it, but I don't know. You tell me after you listen to this, because it's basically addressing everything we saw that was frustrating about on the offensive side.
We weren't great up front today either. I thought that it got a little leaky, to their credit. And I thought, they played pretty good. Again, when we hit the plays we wanted to hit, we got explosive plays. I just felt like at times he was a little jittery in the pocket, but again, we didn't help him. We tried to help him with some easier type throws. Unfortunately, it wasn't effective enough. So that's on me. We've got to have a better plan in place to execute at a higher level.
Goes back to what you said, Stevie, right there. I forgot he said that at the end.
Yeah,
I like Sark. This is not about liking him. I think he's smart. I think his football acumen's off the chart. What he just said, and I know he's deflecting everything to him.
Mm-hmm.
Am I overreading when he says we got to have a better plan?
He is trying to pull the media to eat him up and get off the kids. There was a time when he did say that we were leaky on the O-line, right?
Yep.
Well, then we have to pull 2 backs in and a tight end in to help block, because And they weren't. I mean, he had some time in there. I think Quinn was just too jittery. But
Yeah.
if Quinn needed two backs back there to help block, to just settle his feet down, if he needed more psychological comfort, bring two backs in for them to help block, so he can go through progressions and send out 3 to 4 receivers that he can go down through. Because once he's comfortable, then you can pull a back out and a back go into a route and things like that.
Right.
Get him comfortable first. Do max protection first. Get him comfortable. Get him a couple of receptions under his belt so he can actually settle down and make some plays. It's not just on Shark. And I know what he's doing. He's deflecting to get everything on him, but it's not just on Shark. You need to have some kind of pride of wearing the Texas across your chest. And it wasn't there. And so something has got to give. Either these players are going to get challenged or these coaches are going to be gone. You putting your check in these kids' mouths, it's the name of the business. So, I mean, everyone's replaceable. Everyone is expendable. And if it's not Shark, people down his staff can be replaced easily.
Yeah.
Out of there, and there's no friends right now because these guys got to feed their families, right? And so if Shark went to the meeting this morning, the staff meeting this morning before the kids came in, and if they look at film, I'm looking at the strength and conditioning staff. That's what I'm doing. And then if the strength and conditioning staff is like, I'm doing everything I can do, if the coaches are taking up all the time, because they only get a certain amount of time per week.
Right. It's 20 hours, right?
Yeah, something like that. So it could also be that you coaches are taking up all the time that I don't have enough time to condition them. And I don't want to get fined. I don't want us to get fined, So that's a conversation that they're going to have within the staff, because there's a disconnect with their conditioning, and there's a disconnect, which makes a disconnect mentally, automatically, just mentally, because when you're tired, you just can't do anything.
Yeah.
You can't think.
Mental fatigue's the worst. You're not engaged.
Yeah. And I thought that it was just mental fatigue. I thought that Ewers left his contacts at home or something, because he was overthrowing everything.
Well, I got to say this, and I know he's a young receiver, but Casey Kane, who I've thought the world of, and I was like, this kid is going to be the next great one. I mean, he just adds to the arsenal. And I think you said something earlier about learning the offense. It's either Quinn's not hitting him or Casey is consistently running to the wrong zone for the route on the route tree, the proficiency of the route tree. He may not have it down because it's one or the other. Are they not on the same page? Because it's my understanding they run a multiple route tree where they check in with the QB and they change every play just like that according to alignment. That's just what it looks like to me. He's not proficient on his route tree and the offensive system. That's just what because he's been like Quinn will throw it over here and Casey's over here.
Mm-hmm.
Or his body position, Quinn's throwing it to an area where only he can throw it.
Yeah.
Casey is still over here on the inside of the DB when he should have maybe cut. I don't know who's wrong in those situations.
Somebody zigged when they should have zagged.
Yeah.
But then that's when I said that I think that when that started to happen, take everything. You got to get rid of all the noise, and you go up to a kid and say, you are running a 4 route. You are running a 7. You're running a 9 route. Anything. You got to be on the same page, because that's how balls get picked.
Yep.
Obviously incompletions, but turnovers happen that way. And so when the ball is snapped, everyone needs to be on the same page. And either OSU did a really good job of disguising their coverages, and they changed their coverages on snap, but we got to recognize that.
Yep.
Bottom line.
100% agree. But it could be worse. Man, the Aggies got slapped by some cocks last night. Oh, my goodness, man.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, my God.
Oh, they got cock slapped.
Hey.
Oh, my goodness.
Bro, Jimbo, he's halfway through his contract, right? 10 years.
So and buy him out for $50 million.
So this is the first time they've ever lost to South Carolina, ever.
Is it really?
Shane Beamer, the son of the former Va-Tech legendary coach, who was at OU 2 years ago as an offensive assistant. He's got some juice flowing over there. He's building it. They got beat on the road. Man, the Cox slapped them all over the place. I mean, Stevie, they're 3-4. It could be worse for Texas.
They're paying a lot of money for 3-4 right now, man.
Yeah,
under 500.
So this is your boy Jimbo after the Cox loss.
Well, there's a lot of them. It's got to continue to grow and play, and we're playing good football teams. I mean, it's got to keep. You're right there. He's got to figure out a way to do it and keep coaching.
But you're supposed to be a good football team.
Yeah.
You are. See,
I don't know what to say, man.
So okay? Tell me if the rumor is true. Is he really getting around $10 million a year?
Yeah.
Well, you're a $10 million a year person, coach, and you've had 5 years, right? Has it been 5?
I want to see, man. I thought it was 5.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years. You've had 3 to 5 years, and your excuse is we're playing really good football teams.
Well, aren't you a good football team?
What's that?
It's supposed to be a good football team.
So that's what I'm saying. Your excuse is we're playing really good football teams. Well, sir, I'm paying you a grip of money for us to be a good football team. So you're just saying those teams are better than you. That's what you're conceding when you say that.
That's exactly what that. That's embarrassing.
Yeah. So you either just understand what your boss, the AD, is saying when he hear you say that is you're one of the highest paid coaches in the country, and your excuse to losing is that we're just playing really good football teams. Well, I'm paying you make me a really good football team
to be that level of football program.
Oh, he needs media training.
We're talking. He needs to slow down a little bit, stay off the espresso shots. Man, it just we love football.
Yeah.
And we have Aggie friends. You know, they're in the same situation, just not as bad, because at least they've been somewhat relevant. You take away the 2018 season, but they've been losing 4 and 5 games consistently.
Yeah.
Except the COVID year. And then I think last year. But it's just that was just foolish to pay that man that amount of money and commit to it. All of it. But there's always a buyout.
There's what?
You know, there's always a buyout.
There's a number that he will take to go away.
Yeah, hey, you got to leave. It's his 5th year. He's 37 and 18.
Well, that's not bad.
Not awful.
18.
It's not awful.
It's not terrible.
But we're in the middle of his 5th year.
But you're 3-4 now.
Yeah. So he's at A&M, 9-4, 8-5, 9-1, 8-4, and now 3-4. I mean, he's not awful, but
it's going down. It's going the wrong direction. It's trending in the wrong direction.
Right. He's 8-4 last year with a win at Alabama. with a hurt quarterback.
And those 8 and 9 win seasons were played with the previous regime's players.
Partially, yep.
Yeah, partially.
Yep.
So now you got a team full of all your recruits, right?
That's exactly right.
At this point, these are all your recruits.
Our guy, Stevie, Jeff Traylor, they were all down and out at the Alamo Dome. They came back and won. They're winning again. They beat North Texas. So he walked into the post-game press conference yesterday with a little towel that looked like a cross and the initials MC. So I did a little research, and I texted Coach Traylor just to ask him a little bit about it. And I found this soundbite I'll show you. Stood for MCs for Matt Camp, a dear late childhood friend of his, who was also the school board president and the broadcaster, play-by-play for Gilmer High School before he got that program rolling. He helped Coach Traylor build it up. Well, he died back in 2009 after a battle with melanoma, just a few days after Traylor had won his 100th game in 2009. And he told me there was no way. Camp told him that there was no way he was going to miss his 100th win. He said, when you reach win number 300, I'll have the best seat for it. So compiling his 25-plus wins at UTSA to all those wins in high school, so it adds up to 200. And this is what Coach Traylor had to say.
On my 100th win, he was dying, and he got to Winnebago, and he came to the game and called my 100th win. He passed away on that next Wednesday. I still have the voicemail. He told me, he said, bro, there's no way I was going to miss your 100th win. I don't know how many more I'm going to see. He said, but when you win number 300, I'm going to have the best seat in the house. And tonight was number 200 for me. So I'm 100 away, brother. And I'm going to get there, right? And his life verse is Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your understanding. And we beat Liberty Isle in 2009 for my 100th win. And we were losing at halftime. And I told my kids to not do this to me. I told my kids this story last night in devotion. Hell, they did it even more, right? So Matt Camp's very special. His wife, Deidre, has never been remarried. His son, Cade, is 22. And A&M. And special people.
Wow.
That's inspiring.
That is.
That's good stuff, man.
Man.
That's good stuff. I like that.
Powerful. I love that verse too, Bible verse.
Yeah, no question. That's a good one. And so he obviously has a connection with his players. And I'm going to be selfish a little bit and just bring it back to the University of Texas. Where's the connection that we have? Like that. The coaches and the players have to have a connection. They're not on the same page right now. But no, Traylor, that was actually that's special, man.
Yeah.
To have that connection. I know that bond. I had that same bond with my high school coach, Coach Dennis Dunn. And then I have that same connection with Coach Brown. You can see it in the montage.
Yeah.
When we come in. So Coach Brown is still my guy. I see him every year at his fundraiser. I play in his golf tournament, and he's take time out to talk to me. We had a special bond when Cole Pittman passed away from the car accident. Cole and I went to the same high school, and so Coach Brown put me and Phillip on the Purple Pride, which was Red McComb's a private plane, and flew us back to Shreveport with him so we can be with our families because our friend had died. Our friend from high school had died, right? And so we had that special bond. He comforted us. He offered us his house, and everything, and put us on the plane to get us back to our family because we lost a friend. And he and I always have that special bond. And we talk about Cole every time we see each other. That's how you inspire players to run through brick walls for you. is by caring about them. So I can see that Trailer's passion for his kids and in that story. I can go on and on about coaches actually buying into the kids, and not just the kids buying into the coaches.
It works both ways. It has to.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, absolutely, it does. And so we talk about football. And we can go out between the lines and actually play football, but to have a bond with a player, a real bond with the player, is something different. And that player is going to play their hearts out for you, and I'm not sure if these kids have that right now. It's really become a real business like feeling right now, and maybe that's the NIL deals that's going on. But I think that the kids need to spend some time with the coaches outside of football.
I agree. I hope this current staff I would like to think that they have those connections like Jeff Traylor does. Mm-hmm. And I'd like to say that something great's going to happen by the end of this season. But if this regime doesn't work, I really would like to see Jeff Traylor as the head coach of Texas.
Oh,
that one day.
Oh,
I still have faith in Sark and his staff. I'm not one of those get them out, fire assistants. Man, keep this staff as it is.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if this doesn't work out, I'd love to see Traylor because he would absolutely kill recruiting on another level and in this great state of Texas.
Yeah, I hear you.
Between now and then, I was going to talk about Dak starting, but, man, you've seen it when you press mute and you got a phone call or you're watching another game on another TV, you got to hit mute on one. Well, I want to show you when closed captioning goes wrong. I didn't notice it because it was the Stephen F. Austin game yesterday. And, oh, my God, I hope everybody can read this clear. Lee, we've seen a fair amount of chip penis between –
Oh, what was he trying to say? What did he actually say?
Yeah, there's some chippiness between the players. Amount of chip penis.
Oh, amount of chip penis between the players.
Man, tell Chip to make sure that zipper works on his inseam.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
Man, you have 2 dogs, right?
Yes, I do.
Do you feed them McDonald's fries?
Nah, can't.
Don't do that.
Nah.
Is there anything that you feed them that you shouldn't?
It's no telling what my dogs feed these dogs, or my daughters feed these dogs, man. My daughters is really their dogs. So my youngest daughter has the one that's named Texas, and my oldest daughter has the one that's named Austin. And so their names are Austin and Texas because they're Blue Lacy's. They're the Texas State Dogs.
Beautiful.
They're just crazy. No, they're crazy, man. So there's no telling what they're eating. What's going on?
Check out this. I don't know. This dog needs to, he may need some Ritalin or an ADHD medications calm his roll in line at McDonald's.
When your dog goes crazy over McDonald's fries,
hey man, listen. That looked like me after a night of going out in college. After a night going out with the boys in college, and we stopped at Whataburger. That was me.
That's after Dirty Six.
Yeah, absolutely. Dirty Six.
Yeah.
Dirty Six and the Whataburger on campus or near campus on Guadalupe, man. That was me.
Whataburger with cheese, mustard, pickles, lettuce, tomatoes.
Yeah. So here's my order. Thank you for stopping at, or thank you for coming to Whataburger. Can I have a number 2 with cheese, extra mayo? Oh, I'm sorry. Number 2 with cheese, extra mustard.
There you go, attaboy.
Large size, my fries, please.
Oh, what a size.
What a size.
What a size that.
What a size that. Yep.
Hey, did you get a shake?
No, I didn't get shakes. Shake, something about black people and lactose. It doesn't happen.
I didn't know that. I really
Oh. So the best shakes I ever had is the root beer shake from P. Terry's.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna tell you this without divulging too much information.
Gassy.
Is whenever I come home, because I can't drink that type of stuff. I can't do that in front of my wife. Like, she's the health nut, right? But whenever I come home and I've snuck off and got a P. Terry shake, she knows automatically.
What's our indication? What? Oh.
Yeah. There you go. I see the look on your face now. The flatulence.
Flatulence. It's a gaseous state.
I love your face when you finally got it. You're like, so what?
The thought bubble revealed it all.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Man, that was a little premature. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, it's all good. We
very
can go right
sensitive
into
over
it.
here on my side.
Yeah.
So, other than flatulence induced by shakes or dairy products, man, tell me something good. Other than we gotta uplift you and Longhorn Nation, and our Aggie friends too.
Yeah.
Something good. What should we tell the masses that's uplifting?
Listen, I will guarantee this is something good. I guarantee this is a Stevie Lee guarantee that we do not lose on Saturday.
Kansas State?
This Saturday.
Oh, hey! BYE.
We play BYE. We will not lose this Saturday. That's a guarantee.
Dude.
That's something good. That's something good. We will not lose. Can you call it a win? You can't call it a win.
It remains undefeated.
Lose. Do what?
Bye week's undefeated.
We're undefeated against the bye week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So
that's right.
Tell me something good. We will not lose on Saturday.
I like that.
Period.
When I was whenever Stephen F. Austin had a bye week, I was in my second of four or five stops in the media. I went back to East Texas. I couldn't wait for Stephen F. Austin's open date. Jack's off date. Jack's off week.
Hey, man, you're making me like Stephen F. Austin more and more every week, man. I got to go to Nacogdoches and just hang out there, man.
Do it with me. Let's go.
Your stories are great at Stephen F. Austin, man. It's Jack's off week, huh? Oh, my goodness. You know what? That's almost as good as one of my teammates. Shout out to Trey. I'm just telling you his first name because his
Protect
last name.
the innocent.
Do what?
Protect the innocent.
Protect the innocence. No, you'll figure it out here. So, you know how back in the day, Will Smith, what was the name? It's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that butler that they had, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
And he would call Will Smith Master William.
Yes.
He used to call him Master William in his,
Master William.
Yeah, in his UK voice or accent. Well, my friend Trey, he on the back of his high school Letterman jacket is Master. And then there's a line that goes under it, and that's his last name under it, that's on that line. So it's Master and then his last name.
Bates?
His name was Trey Bates. Hey, the guy, I saw that for the first, he wore his jacket and I saw it for the first time, I cracked up laughing.
Oh my God. Every day that would be legendary.
And listen, smart guy. He's a doctor now.
Dr. Bates.
Yeah, Dr. Page and Dr. Bates.
Page and Dr. Master Bates.
He put Master on his jacket, last name Bates.
That is.
It was perfect, man.
Oh my God. That is
so
brilliant.
This show has just gone PG-13 or
borderline R.
Parental guidance.
Parental guidance suggested.
17. Yeah.
It's NR 17.
Get a couple drinks in me and we'll be not rated.
It'll be not rated. And then I have to select every box imaginable when we publish this. Not for kids.
Not for kids.
Oh, Stevie, we're handling this very well, despite a big L. We know how to make it fun.
Yeah, man, because I'm a positive guy, right?
Positive guy.
You know, the positivity is something good is we're not going to lose this Saturday.
Not going to lose.
No, that's a guarantee.
And Manhattan, Kansas
is next. Yeah.
Remind me next. I want to save it for next week, or I'll put it on. I'll tag it. Mike Leach wearing his team out at the press conference about them against if they got it manhandled by Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
About them not knowing how to use their hands. You got to see it.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't know. We're going to lose the functionality of how to use our hands through time because in Starkville, we don't know how to use them.
Ooh.
He calls it the natural evolution. If you come to Starkville, you will learn how to not use your hands.
Wow.
It's pretty funny the way he did it.
Yeah.
I guarantee they start using their hands more.
Yeah, I hear you.
Man.
I bet.
Hey, brother, you tell your family hello, Summer, all the beautiful girls and the dogs, too. They deserve love, too.
Yeah, I guess they do.
Yeah. Yeah, they're hyper, but hey, so is your guy over here.
Yeah, man.
Hey, good times are ahead.
No question.
Hey, for Stevie and all his amazing family and to all of Shreveport, Louisiana, and the OG Man Cave Boys, Big Mike, Coach Mo, and Hardball Harge, we out.